God says you have been alerted. Exactly at 11:11 p.m., you will be prepared in a new way to face the path that unfolds before you. God is saying to you today that life is a journey made of unexpected moments, challenges that test your endurance, and opportunities that invite you to grow beyond what you thought possible. In this grand tapestry of existence, you will encounter blessings and trials, joys and sorrows, and each of these experiences will shape you in ways you might not yet fully comprehend. There will be occasions when the weight of your burdens feels overwhelming, and you might believe you are too weary to keep going. Yet God wants you to remember that there is a divine hand guiding and strengthening you. Whenever you feel alone, whenever the nights feel too long and your spirit is troubled, you can call upon the power that transcends human limits. This power, rooted in pure love, will never forsake you, but will lift you into a higher place where your hopes are renewed and your heart is made strong again. Life's challenges often seem like towering mountains, and you might wonder if you have what it takes to overcome the steep, jagged cliffs. You might look at the heights before you and feel inadequacy and fear. Yet consider the mountain climber, who gazes upon a summit that appears impossible to reach. He or she can be overwhelmed by the enormity of the climb. But in order to begin, the climber must take one single step. That step might be small, it might be fraught with uncertainties, but it is the necessary beginning. God urges you to do the same. Take that small step, even if you are unsure of where your foot will land. The courage to move forward, even by a mere inch, is a priceless demonstration of your faith. Faith is not always about grand gestures. Sometimes, it is expressed in a steady, humble willingness to proceed despite the unknown. At times, the obstacles that life sets before you might appear insurmountable. You may be worried that your strength is insufficient. You may wonder how you can possibly carry on when circumstances are against you, and each day tests your patience and determination. Yet God wants you to know that what seems impossible in your human eyes is not beyond His reach. With God, all things are possible. This message resonates with absolute certainty and truth. When life's storms rage and you feel tossed about with no anchor, remember that you are never alone. There is a presence watching over you, a constant source of hope that gently reminds you to keep pressing on. The adversity you face is not meant to defeat you. Instead, it is meant to refine you, to bring out of you the brilliance and tenacity that you may never have known you possessed. This is why you must strive to reach for what some might call the impossible. The impossible is only a boundary set by human thought, a limit we place on ourselves when we underestimate the infinite nature of divine love and power. Imagine how a plant grows through concrete. It seems impossible, but the plant persists with patient determination, eventually breaking through the hardness of the surface. Your spirit is like that plant, and the obstacles you face are like the concrete. Only through resilience, trust, and unwavering faith can you crack through those hardened surfaces. You may feel at times that the forces standing in your way are too powerful. You may think there is no way out of the dark tunnel. But know this: God has already prepared a light at the end of that tunnel. Trust that this light will guide you, though it might not come exactly in the way or at the time you expect. God calls out to you and says, "My child, fear not. When your faith is tested, remember that God is for you and not against you." The gentle whisper of God's voice can reach even the most fearful heart. Even if you tremble as you move forward, God's hand is upon you, calming your spirit and ensuring that no matter how fiercely the wind blows, you will remain steady. The path can be steep, but step by step, you will ascend, just as a climber scales the mountain with determined resolve. Remember that when you feel as if you cannot climb any higher, you are closer to the summit than you think. Do not give up. Keep going, for these are the moments when God's presence is most profound. In your weary prayers and in your whispered cries for help, God is listening. You are never cast aside or forgotten. Even if others do not understand your journey, God knows your story intimately. God knows your past, your present struggles, and your future victories. He has planned for you, and His plans are good. The time may come when everything in your world feels shaken and your heart is filled with questions. You might feel that the future is unclear and that you stand on trembling ground. Yet, right then, a divine assurance arrives, reminding you of the truth that can dissolve your worry and your fear. God's voice echoes, "I am with you, and I will never leave you." Such a promise is unbreakable, for it comes from a source that transcends all understanding and all time. When you stand firm in that promise, you discover that your soul is fortified with a sacred strength you cannot generate on your own. That is why God has alerted you. Exactly at 11:11 p.m., you will feel a sudden pull on your heart, a reminder of the power of synchronicity and divine timing. You will sense a shift, a gentle divine nudge urging you to pay attention to the ways in which God is leading you. You will realize that there are no accidents and no coincidences in the kingdom of heaven. The repeated appearance of 11:11 might seem mysterious or random, but in the tapestry of the spiritual realm, it is a significant sign. It might be a call to awaken, a signal that your prayers have been heard, or a prompt to remain vigilant and faithful. Whatever it means in your personal journey, trust that it is not meaningless. God sometimes uses small signs or repeated patterns to speak to us in ways that bypass our usual distractions. So remember that 11:11 p.m. is not just an ordinary time on the clock. It is a holy reminder, a gentle reaffirmation that you are connected to a grander story and that your life is woven into a divine plan. God's message tells you that you are made to endure and to conquer, not through your own power alone, but through the grace that surrounds you. If you feel unworthy of such grace, if your heart aches with regrets and sorrows, know that God's love runs deeper than your regrets. God does not measure your worth by your mistakes, but sees you as a precious soul, beloved beyond measure. You are meant to shine a light in the darkness, and you are capable of radiating hope wherever you go. When you stumble, God's hand is there to lift you up, not to condemn you. When you succeed, it is a testament to how God's glory works through your willing spirit. In all things, remember that your story is part of a larger narrative of redemption, one that spans ages and countless lives, yet finds a unique home in your heart. As you walk on this path, God encourages you to let go of fears that hold you back from the fullness of life. Fear can paralyze you, making the climb seem impossible. Fear can whisper that you are not good enough, that you do not have the talents or the resources to make a difference. But hear these words clearly. With God, all things are possible. That means your limitations do not bind you to failure. Instead, your limitations can be transformed into channels for grace, allowing the divine power to work through your weaknesses, turning them into strengths. The climb is always hardest just before the peak. Many turn back, believing it is too hard to continue. But those who persevere find that the view from the top is more magnificent than words can express. You are called to be among those who do not give up. You are called to be someone who hears God's voice and responds with a simple, "Yes, I believe." When you find yourself in moments of despair or heaviness, remember that God's love is a sheltering wing covering you. In that shelter, you can rest your weary soul. In that safe place, you are given the gift of peace that surpasses understanding. You might question how you can find peace when the world around you is in turmoil, when your relationships are strained, when your future seems uncertain. Yet peace is not the absence of difficulties. It is the presence of God amid those difficulties. Peace is the calming presence in the storm, a soothing hand over your anxious heart. Recognize that this peace is available to you right now as you read these words, as your mind processes your uncertainties and your spirit yearns for reassurance. You can claim it with a simple prayer. God, I trust you. Take my worries and guide me according to your will. God reminds you that your journey is significant, that each step matters, and that your faith will carry you to destinations you never dreamed possible. You might feel small at times, but your faith in a limitless God can move mountains. Even the act of liking a video that carries God's message or typing yes to claim it can be a meaningful declaration of hope. Each small gesture of faith opens doors you cannot see, doors that lead to fresh opportunities for growth and transformation. Whenever you declare your trust in God, you are essentially saying, I choose to believe that, no matter what I see with my eyes, there is a higher reality at work. This is how miracles become real. This is how you step into the realm where the impossible is made possible. Think of yourself as a traveler who has set forth on a long expedition. The road is winding and sometimes unclear, but you have a compass that never fails, and that compass is God's voice in your heart. Trust it when it nudges you in a certain direction. Trust it when it tells you to rest or when it encourages you to move forward. Trust it even when others question your path. It is through this divine guidance that you can navigate life's storms and remain steady. You do not have to figure everything out on your own. Surrendering to divine wisdom is not an act of weakness. It is the ultimate testament of courage. You are bravely acknowledging that there are forces at work which are greater than your single perspective. By doing so, you align yourself with the mighty current of grace that flows from God's heart to yours. Every day that dawns is another opportunity to grow in faith. Every trial you encounter is a chance to step closer to the summit of your destiny. Every struggle teaches you something invaluable: compassion, patience, humility, or perseverance. Never think that any situation is wasted. With God, nothing is wasted. Everything can be redeemed and transformed into blessings. At times you might feel anxious, but God whispers peace. At times you might feel weary, but God extends strength. At times you might feel lost, but God lights the path. There is a steady current of love flowing through your life, always present, always ready to sustain you. Open your heart to this current and let it fill you until your doubts are drowned and your soul is revived. Though you stand at the base of a mountain so tall that its peak is hidden by clouds, you can climb it. The journey might take longer than you want, and there might be unexpected detours. You might slip, you might stumble, and you might need moments of rest. But God, who sees beyond the clouds, knows precisely how high you can go. He knows what you are capable of, and that is why He calls you to believe in the impossible. Refuse to be discouraged by setbacks. Refuse to let fear become the loudest voice in your mind. In choosing faith over fear, you embrace the truth of who you are, a precious child of God, made for greater things than you can imagine. You have been alerted so that you might be prepared, strengthened, and guided in every season of your life. At 11:11 p.m., pause and remember that you are aligned with a God who orchestrates times and seasons, who created the stars and calls them by name. Let this moment remind you that you too are chosen, that you are held in the arms of love. In that quiet space, let your heart overflow with gratitude, for gratitude is a key that unlocks the fullness of blessing. The divine presence will speak to you in ways that only your heart understands. Listen carefully. You may sense a surge of renewed hope, a wave of courage, or a subtle peace that washes away every doubt. Do not ignore these stirrings, for they are God's gentle invitations to trust more deeply. When the clock strikes 11:11 p.m., you can silently say, "Yes, I claim your promise, and I trust that what is impossible for me is entirely possible for you." Simple words, spoken sincerely, have immense power. They create a bridge between the human heart and the divine realm. That bridge allows heavenly grace to flow into your life, transforming obstacles into stepping stones and turning doubts into unwavering conviction. Through this experience, you will see the beautiful truth that you are never alone. God walks with you day and night, in triumph and struggle, in laughter and tears. You are embraced in everlasting love, guided by infinite wisdom, and supported by immeasurable power. God's promise is unwavering, and His guidance is sure. Even if you feel uncertain of what tomorrow holds, you can be certain of who holds tomorrow. Keep moving forward in faith, knowing that you are equipped with every spiritual resource you need to fulfill your purpose. You may not see the final outcome, but you can trust that God sees it and He declares it good. Step by step, climb by climb, you will ascend higher, and your victories will serve as a testament to others who need hope. In your journey, you will shine a light that draws others to ask, "How did you achieve the impossible?" And you will be able to answer with sincere humility, "It is not me, but the God I trust, who makes all things possible." So, as this day unfolds, hold on to these words. Let them resonate in your heart and shape your actions. God says you have been alerted. Exactly at 11:11 p.m., you will be reminded of how close you are to the source of all miracles. You will see that the impossible is only a step away when your faith rests in the one who created you. It is your moment to stand tall and to proclaim that your life is woven with threads of grace. With every breath you take, know that you are beloved, precious, and called for a divine purpose. Through adversity, your true potential is revealed. Through faith, you bridge the gap between your limitations and God's limitless power. By claiming this promise with your whole heart, you will experience the reassurance that no burden is too heavy and no mountain is too high for the one who walks with you. In your daily actions, let your life be a living testimony to the glory of God. For with God, all things are possible, now and forevermore.